In order to win the Super Bowl, it's very simple. You have to control the line of scrimmage, and the edge rusher is one of the most important positions, if not the most important position, at the NFL level. So today I'm going to give you my top 10 edge rushers in the 2026 class, as well as a bunch of honorable mentions. But now it's your turn. Get in the comment section below and let me know your favorite edge rushers in this year's class. Now on your screen, there might be some shocking names, but these guys, whether if they are power rushers, speed rushers, or they're not elite at anything, and they give you a combination of both, these guys barely miss the cut. And to be completely honest with you, from 8 to 15, these guys are interchangeable. But at 15, we have Matayo. I'm not going to pronounce his last name. I'm going to do him some justice. Out of Oregon, you guys see the name. At 14 is Mikal Kamara, a bit undersized, but he's got fight in him, man. He's got that dog in him. I love Kamara, and I think he could be a fun project pick there late in the draft. We have Romello Height, a guy that is such an electric pass rusher, but there's a lot of questions around how light he is, if he can fill out his frame, and his ability to stay on the field against the run. Zion Young and LT Overton, guys that were very, very close to making my top 10, but barely missed the cut. Overall, though, all of these guys can be as high as number 8 on my list. Now, R. Mason Thomas cracks the list at number 10 at 6'2", 250. Does come in a bit light, but he's very solid all around, and despite being only 250 pounds, he is an anchor in the run game. This is a guy that is an underrated run defender despite being undersized, and his pass production is there as well, as he's had 15 and a half sacks over the last 2 seasons, helping this Sooners defense be a lot better than they were before he got there. He does need to get a little bit stronger, of course, fill out his frame, but like I mentioned, at 250 pounds, he gives you a little bit of everything, and that could be an intriguing, he could be an intriguing option for a lot of teams down the board on day 3 of the draft. At number 9 is another guy that comes in a bit undersized at 250 pounds, and that is Cassius Howe. Now, unlike R. Mason Thomas, he's not great against the run, and a lot of that has to do with his weight. So he'll have to bulk up a bit, and if he bulks up, he's going to have to maintain his athleticism because he's a freakish pass rusher, and he comes in with 5 years of experience, but 25 sacks over the last 3 years. He isn't a freakish athlete, of course. I think he's going to test extremely well. Cassius Howe, you want to get him for a situational look? I think he could be very dominant and effective for many years in the NFL as far as the situational pass rusher. There we go. But yeah, he's down here at number 9 because he's going to be limited to simply not playing against the run. Now, unlike Cassius Howe and Romello Height, this is the opposite. He is a primary run defender, and he might be the best run defender in the class. Tyreek Sapp, go Gators! At 6'3", 270, he is a huge human being, and he is not only strong, he is King Kong strong with a K, mind you. I think he might be the strongest edge rusher in the class. He is a top 3 run defender in this class. There's not too many guys with his athleticism and his strength get outside of him, and he set the edge so well at Florida over the last few years, and I think he's going to do that extremely well at the next level. So with all these offenses now running a lot of these outside zone runs, a team is going to attack a Tyreek Sapp, get him early in the draft, and he's going to be that edge that can really shut down some of these lanes in the outside zone game that so many offenses like to run. So Tyreek Sapp, he's not a pass rush threat. He's more of a situational guy in key rundowns to be effective in that regard. But outside of just being freakishly athletic, he's not going to be effective in the pass game. At number 7 is Danny Dennis Sutton at 6'5", 265. He brings rare size for the position because he is freakishly athletic, and he can do a little bit of everything. Over the last 2 years, he's had at least 8.5 sacks, but also he's had a total of 7 forced fumbles over the last 3 seasons. So he's a ball production player. He is getting after the quarterback almost all the time, and he has one of the highest pressure rates amongst all of the pass rushers in today's video. The only things you worry about is that he needs to round out his pass rushing approach. Sometimes he just tries to win with being more athletic than the offensive tackle. That might slide at the college level more times than not, but when you get to the pros, you're going to have a lot harder of a time just simply using athleticism to get to the quarterback. So rounding out his pass rushing approach, which is very fixable, is going to be the biggest task. But Danny Dennis Sutton is an athletic freak, and a lot of teams are going to love to have him in the middle rounds. Just like Tyreek Sapp, Keldrick Folk might be the most designated run defender that a run defender can be. At 6'6", 285, he is the best anchor in this class as far as setting a hard edge and forcing ball carriers to go a different direction. He is a deceptive athlete at 6'6", 285, and with his rare size and run-stopping ability, there's a reason why a lot of other people are going to have him in their top 3, top 2 pass rushers in this year's class. For me personally, I like a guy that can attack the passer a bit more than a Keldrick Folk, so that's why he's down here at number 6. At the midway point, I do want to quickly recap, as at number 10, we have our Mason Thomas, who's very solid all around. Now, if you want to go for strictly pass rushing ability, you have guys like Cassius Howell at number 9 and Danny Dennis Sutton at number 7. Freakish athletes. They might be limited in the run game, but as far as getting after the passer, which is the number 1 role of an edge rusher, they do that extremely well. If you want a guy that can set a hard edge and be a dominant force in the run game, you have guys like Keldrick Folk and Tyreek Sapp. Let's get into the top 5. At number 5 is Leather Helmet Man himself, Akeem Mesidor. At 6'3", 265, I call him Leather Helmet. Well, I didn't give him that nickname. The draft community gave him that nickname because he is a 7-year college football player, and he's going to be 25 years old by the time he takes his first NFL snap. But he did use those 7 years, and he, I guess, capitalized at the right time because he transferred to Miami, and he had his best year of his collegiate football career with 12 sacks, and you can't see it because my face cam is in the way, but 4 forced fumbles just this past year as Miami made a miraculous run all the way to the college football title game. For Mesidor, he is an extremely powerful pass rusher. He is a good to great anchor in the run game. With his experience, you know what you're getting out of Mesidor. His ceiling, though, I think is a bit limited. I don't know if you're going to get a lot better of a version of what we've already seen from Mesidor because he is already 25 years old. But I do want to propose this question to a lot of you guys out there because some people have Mesidor in their top 2 edge rushers in this year's class. How much of this 1 year where he had his best year was of the impact of Ruben Bain? Of course, Ruben Bain was double-teamed more than a lot of edge rushers in this past college football season, which gave Mesidor a lot of one-on-one matchups. So how much of this breakout season was simply because Ruben Bain attracted so much attention from opposing offenses? That is a concern of mine. I want to see how well he translates to the next level. I think he's one of the safer prospects because you know what you're getting, but I think I do prefer 4 pass rushers over him due to age and, of course, having maybe just being better as far as an overall complete package. At number 4 could be a my guy in this year's class, and that is Gabe Akis of the Fighting Illini at 6'3", 275. Great size, and I think he's a complete edge. He's had 20 total sacks and 6 forced fumbles over the last 2 seasons. So he gets after the quarterback, he forces turnovers to put his team in the best situation possible. I think he's a great run defender as far as setting a great anchor and a great edge, forcing ball carriers and, I guess making their job a lot harder than it should be, which is very impressive in the Big Ten. A lot of teams like to run the football. But he is a guy that I think at times shows flashes of being a great pass rusher as well. He's explosive, a guy that outside of not finishing some plays at times, I think he has a lot of potential to him and a lot of upside, which could sneak him into day 2 of the NFL draft. I think that's a bit overzealous, but still, Gabe Akis, I like him, and he might be my guy in this year's class, but he's at number 4. I think the top 3 are set in stone. It just is it's a matter of where you have these guys, and personally, I have TJ Parker at number 3 at 6'3", 265. He is a powerful edge. We saw at Senior Bowl weekend, as well as in his junior season, he can dominate pretty much anybody on any given snap. However, he's coming off of a down year, but who from Clemson isn't? Over the last 2 years, he's had 16 sacks and 6 forced fumbles, with the majority of that coming 2 seasons ago, as this last year, again, was a bit of a down year. But his 2024 tape, as well as what we just saw at Senior Bowl weekend, is going to keep him high on a lot of teams' draft boards, and I wouldn't be shocked if he is a first-round pick. So TJ Parker is a bit of a complete package, and I got him at number 3. At number 2 is David Bailey at 6'3", 250. I think you already know what I'm going to say. He comes in a bit light at 250 pounds, but the difference with David Bailey and the lighter edges that we've already mentioned is the fact that he can do pass rushing at such a high level. You almost have to disregard the weight concerns because he could also add a little bit of weight to his frame going into this NFL draft process. He is by far and away the most athletic edge rusher in this year's class, and he might be the best pass rusher in this year's class. In fact, let me scratch that. He is the most athletic, and he is the best pass rusher in this year's class. He's coming off of a year on a loaded Texas Tech defense with 14 and a half sacks in a college football season. That was almost one a game. He had 3 forced fumbles to match that already crazy production. He got after the quarterback at one of the highest rates in college football last season. The only thing you worry about is maybe he's going to get drowned out in the run game, and teams are going to run his way a lot, as when you look at NFL offensive linemen, they're going to be a lot bigger and a lot stronger than a David Bailey. But as far as being a dominant situational pass rusher, David Bailey can do it all, man, and he is no doubt a top 10 pick in this upcoming year's draft. He's at number 2, which would leave Ruben Bain at number 1 at 6'3", 275. He might not be the best at any specific trait in this year's class, but I think he's so solid at everything that he should be the consensus first edge rusher off the board in this year's class. He is a powerful disruptor. He had 9.5 sacks last year on a team that went to the national title game. He wins with power against any and everybody. And I do think he sets a great anchor in the run game. The only thing you worry about, again, he's not the best at anything in this class. He's not an elite athlete, and he does have shorter arms. However, Ruben Bain is so good at everything. I think he's the safest edge rusher in this class, but he might also have the highest ceiling. So he's at number 1 for me, which would leave my top 5 on your screen. Ruben Bain at number 1, David Bailey at 2, TJ Parker at 3, Gabe Akis, potential my guy, at number 4. And Ruben Bain's teammate, Akeem Messador, is there at number 5. I think you can see why the Hurricanes made the CFP title game. At 6 through 10, we already ran through it, but it's on your screen. As you read through that, I do want to say this. We are done with the positional ranking episodes. I am waiting for the arm length measurements for the offensive linemen before I release those rankings. However, in the meantime, this is where it gets fun. We're going to do a lot of mock drafts, a lot of reaction mock drafts, a lot of My Guy episodes, things of that nature. So if there's anything you want to see in particular, please leave it in the comment section below. And this is a channel that is at 50 subscribers now. So I want to thank you guys as we've grown this channel from nothing to where we're at now in just a span of a week and a half. And let's continue that train. Let's continue to get faster and grow this as big as possible. To all the draft fanatics out there, I truly thank you. But again, leave those channel and video ideas down below.